Look, we've said it before, people take it on as identity at the beginning. They take it on as something that they feel helps them in the beginning. They feel like they have to admit that there's something wrong with them, that there's something that they can't control inside of them. And when people say alcoholic, it's just a label, it's just something that people hang it's what they hang their habit on, is what they use to identify themselves and to get away with it. It's not just a label, right? It's people who are taking this on as an identity. We talked about this before, that there's a difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. The fixed mindset doesn't allow for change, right? It says that you are fixed in this way of thinking. You are fixed in this, whatever it is that you're doing, or the way that you're thinking, that you can't get out of it. The growth mindset is that you can move away from this, that you can grow out of this, but you have to put in the work to do it, right? And that's the difficulty, is if you're ingrained in the instant gratification mindset, which is a fixed mindset, it becomes much more difficult for you to move out of it, because your solutions then all become in that same way of thinking, that instant gratification. What can I do now? What can I take now? I'll go to this meeting because I know that there's going to be other people there who identify the same as me, right? And I'll keep going to this meeting, because if I don't, I'm going to go back to my old life. And I'll keep going to it year after year after year, right? I'll keep thinking like that, even if you're not going to the meetings. I've heard people that are still going to meetings 20 years later. I've heard people who, when they get a feeling, they don't deal with it themselves. They feel like they have to go to this meeting. And look, if that's your thing, that's your thing, right? But I can't take that on myself, and I don't coach that. I don't want my clients to take on that as an identity, because, it's... Look, we've said it before, people take it on as identity at the beginning. They take it on as something that they feel helps them in the beginning. They feel like they have to admit that there's something wrong with them, that there's something that they can't control inside of them. They have to diagnose themselves as having not having something wrong with them, but being this broken fucking person, right? A fella or a girl walking around with something broken inside of their heads, like, you shake up an old radio and it's got something that is jangling around inside of it. And that's what people think, that there is something literally broken inside of their heads. We used to do the same thing, these exact same things with smoking, right? In the past, when, there was a lot more smoking. I remember a day when you could walk into a bank and people would be smoking. They'd be smoking everywhere, in supermarkets, everywhere, pubs, buses, a lot more people smoking. And I imagine before I was born there was a lot more people smoking in the 40s and 50s, but it was that same thing. Can you believe that people used to say exactly the same things with smokers? That person there, they're giving up the cigarettes and look what they've done to them. It's not the cigarettes that's the fault. They're doing something wrong, right? There's something wrong with them, right? They can't smoke just like normal folk. How ridiculous does that sound to us now? How ridiculous does it sound that there is any such thing as normal smoking? I look at another smoker and I think, especially young people, my God, I see a young girl all dressed up, smoking a cigarette. I think it's the most piteous thing I've ever seen, Probably an exaggeration, but you get what I'm coming from. It sounds ridiculous now that people used to accept cigarettes as normal smoking for people, that smoking was normal in people's lives. It sounds ridiculous now, but it's the same thing as what we're doing here with alcoholics and trying to make out that there's normal drinking. Just because people have been doing something for years, it doesn't mean to say that there's anything good about it. All right, take care. Onwards and upwards.